By Jonathan Amos, BBC Science correspondent, New Orleans. Image copyright Basal and Vaughan. Image caption: Mount Hope is more than twice the height of Ben Nevis in Scotland. Britain has a new tallest mountain. Mount Hope, which is sited in the part of the Antarctic claimed by the UK, was recently remeasured and found to tower above the previous title holder, Mount Jackson, by a good 50 meters 160 feet. Hope is now put at 3,239 meters 10,626 feet. Jackson is 3,184 meters 10,446 feet. The map makers, as the British Antarctic Survey BA, were prompted to take another look at the mountains because of concerns for the safety of pilots flying across the White Continent. In Antarctica there are no roads, so to get around you have to fly planes. And if you're flying planes you really need to know where the mountains are and how high they are, explained Dr. Peter Fretwell. Mount Paget on South Georgia Island is the highest mountain on a British overseas territory outside the Antarctic. Ben Nevis, the tallest peak within the UK, was recently remeasured using high-precision GPS technology. At 1,345 meters 4,412 feet, as well as giving Mount Hope its new status, the reassessment has provided a more complete description of the relief across the quadrant of Antarctica claimed by Britain. This encompasses the long peninsula that stretches north towards South America. Some of its mountains have now been moved up to 5 kilometers to position them more accurately on future maps. Mount Vinson, which sits just outside the British Antarctic Territory, remains the undisputed tallest peak on the continent at 4,892 meters 16,049 feet. Dr. Fretwell's team is releasing its findings on UN International Mountain Day. Media playback is unsupported on your device. Media caption: Peter Fretwell. If mountains are missing or in the wrong place on maps, that's dangerous. Elevation data sets are a topic of discussion here at the fall meeting of the American Geophysical Union (AGU), the world's largest annual gathering of Earth and planetary scientists. The BA group used a combination of elevation models built from satellite data to make the new mountain assessment. When this medium-resolution information threw up the possibility that Mount Hope had been underestimated, the researchers then ordered in some very high-resolution photos for confirmation. These pictures, taken from orbit by the American Worldview 2 spacecraft, allowed for a stereo view of the summits of both Hope and Jackson. "We call this photogrammetry," said Dr. Fretwell, "because we know the position of the satellite so well. If we use it to take two images of a mountain that are ever so slightly offset from each other, we can then employ simple trigonometry to work out the height of that mountain." The process raised Hope from 2,860 meters to 3,239 meters. The measurement technique carries an uncertainty of just 5 meters, so there should be no argument over the mountain's newfound superiority. The long chain of peaks that runs down the spine of the Antarctic Peninsula is one of the most spectacular landscapes on Earth. The chain was initially built some 50,100 million years ago when an oceanic tectonic plate slid under the Antarctic continent, said BA geophysicist Dr. Tom Jordan. This produced volcanism and a shortening and a thickening of the crust. Then, more recently, the ice sheet and its glaciers have cut deep trenches into the Antarctic Peninsula, removing rock and depositing it offshore. As this mass has been removed, so the whole of the peninsula has rebounded, uplifting the peaks fairly significantly, he explained. At the AGU meeting in New Orleans, U.S. researchers are showcasing very similar work but on a much more extensive scale. Dr. Paul Morin, from the Polar Geospatial Center at the University of Minnesota, has led an effort to remap the elevation of both the Arctic and the Antarctic. These projects have access to several years of worldview images in time on a supercomputer to process all the data. The Arctic map has an elevation point, or posting, every 2 meters across the region. The Antarctic map, due to be released early next year, will have the postings every 8 meters. With this availability of data, Antarctica has gone from the poorest mapped place on the planet to one the best, Dr. Morin told BBC News. It makes better science cheaper and faster to achieve. And it also makes science much safer because we know where everything is. Image copyright Harris Geospatial. Image caption: Artwork Worldview 2 has one of the sharpest views of planet Earth. Jonathan Amos. Internet at bbc.co.uk and follow me on Twitter at bbcamos.